My friends, hello there. Do you love art? Do you consider yourself creative? Are you looking for inspiration and maybe a good modern philosophy book to get into all that rambling? Well, then this video is for you. Welcome back to the channel. For those who are new, my name is Lex. I am an average dude doing, I don't know, playing the fool, doing cool stuff. Anyways, welcome. I like to talk about books, stories, I guess. Well, today's video we're going to be talking about this amazing book, Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. Why? Because it's amazing! This book was published in the 70s, around there, and was an instant bestseller. Yes, a great hippie book that talks about Zen and lovely. What can we say? This is the time. And now at the end of the video, I'm going to try to explain how it works for my life and how I've tried to use it. I don't know, because I believe books can. Where Steve Jobs got inspired in one of these books. I think Zen was one of his favorite books, Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. I might be wrong on that, but I might also be right. Check for yourselves, guys. Anyways, why do I believe this is a great book? Especially for creative people, for artists, for you who are trying to create something cool, something mysterious, maybe something original. Well, this book is written in the form of a novel, and yet it speaks about motorcycle maintenance. It's the adventure of a father and his son just biking across America and enjoying the moment, but also maintaining the motorcycle. Why? Isn't that amazing? Well, I'm gonna speak only to my perception. This might differ from what everyone else thinks. I don't give a No, I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to express what I believe to be important. And I love the notion of just being present and getting into things that we sometimes have lost or are a little bit rusty in that. You know, as human beings, we are meant, I don't know if we are meant, but at least me, I enjoy, getting my hands in there, not in there, or maybe yes, in there. Well, in computers and different stuff, trying new things, building things, but with everything such as division of labor, we've just outsourced everything, We're just looking for experts to do everything in our places. Fix our PC, polish our shoes, do our laundry, build our super tiny computers in China. I don't know. That is what I believe, We've been outsourcing so many things, our health, our fitness, to the experts and whatever, and we've lost the notion of discovering for ourselves. And I think that's really important, such is the case of this guy that just loves to maintain his motorcycle and just hypothesize about what could be going wrong, or maintaining his motorcycle is just an extension of himself. That is beautiful. That brings him meaning and joy after he takes care of it, and he knows that it's his bike, and that bike might be different from all the other bikes and yet similar. There might be the same parts, and still those same parts might have some different. The same technique of standardizing and mass producing something can wield very different results, as we have tolerance numbers and stuff. So that's what getting to know about your surroundings and your own experience, and getting your head to try to solve these puzzles and understand things that might not be seen with a simple eye, I read this amazing line by Richard Feynman once, that the artists of today have to learn about science and, and physics and thermodynamics, because that wields a different understanding of our world. Different understanding can breed different ideas, and, aren't artists or creative people trying to emulate or imitate nature to a certain extent? I mean, not imitate, but filter nature through their own lenses, and then, just give back whatever was just processed inside their brains. And well, if you complete your map, and if you get to know different islands, such as those of atoms and electrons and ions and quarks, I don't know, maybe some different idea can be bred in here. And isn't that amazing to know that inside every leaf that we look at, there's weird chloroplast transforming different things into energy, and then building, sugar, and then that is amazing. And that elemental component of a leaf can be found inside all of us, perhaps. An electron, an atom, and then that's something beautiful. I don't know, it breeds simplicity and yet complexity. But adding that to your repertoire can just create amazing things, in my opinion. And that leads us to quality and the Church of Reason. I've always been inclined to question things. Maybe I'm kind of a contrarian, and then I just try to tear everything down that is told to me. Especially, I don't like to be told what to do, so I just like to question everything. And then this guy comes in and tells me that this reason that I've always thought of as king might also be some kind of dogma, ever since we have glorified the Greeks and Aristotle and reason as the king of everything over impulses and desires and thoughts. And, well, we tried to just put every thought into a Procrustean bed and try to fit it into our model of how we see the world, when sometimes maybe those things cannot be explained in that way, because at the end of the day, we're just trying to find analogs, right? We're trying to find these experiences that we have and then express them or label them to communicate them to other people in words that they understand and that we know of. So maybe we're just boxing things. Am I explaining myself correctly here? Let me take a sip of water. Because my throat is just sore. So this guy speaks of a concept of quality. What if reason isn't king? What if there is something before it that breeds reason, This search for truth, that is science basically, or a search for beauty, that is art, are not subject to one another, but subject to something else maybe that can't pass directly through our reasoning. Isn't that curious and interesting? Yes, I don't grasp it completely, but I think that opens new doors. And that which doesn't make sense at first can perhaps open things, help us to expand our perception. We might be thinking inside this area of normal, standardized, scientifical, inductive thought, when perhaps there is something else that we have discarded as being useless or eccentric and crazy, if you catch my drift. I listen to myself and I think, wow, Lex, what the fuck are you saying, man? You are crazy as hell. And it still excites me so much, That's why I love these kinds of books. And that is quality. I'm sorry for just straying off the path. But quality, what if this event that happens before we can even conceptualize something? I look at this camera and say, what a beautiful camera. I've rationalized it, processed it, and put it into words that I've somehow reasoned. Before that comes this event where my mind meets whatever this object is and creates something that breeds this reasoning. Does that make sense? And what if there are some things that can be truly put to our actual concept of reason? I'm not saying that reasoning things is bad, or of course I'm not saying that science is amazing. I believe myself to be not a scientist, but an empiricist, maybe. Yes, that would probably be the word. But to open our mind to know that there are things that probably can be totally explained with the empirical method that we know today seems something worthy of my time. Anyways, and that leads me to great ideas can be bred by us, All these things that we take as granted, laws and sciences and whatever. Of course, they are truly important, but we should do the tests for ourselves. We shouldn't just take dogma, dogma is a strong word, but we've got experts or things that have come from the ancients and we don't question them at all, What if Aristotle or Socrates were right on point on some things and we just label them as gods and we just treat them as the creators of humankind when they are men as well, And that's when we can think, well, I am a man or I am a woman. I am the same species as these great men that I have always looked up to. So I can create those great things as well. I just need to believe in myself, have confidence in myself, and clear my mind of all these doubts that might cloud and then create doubt that just paralyzes me. Of course, I'm not saying that everything will be put on a pedestal such as their ideas or be right on point as their ideas. But these guys, they were just they didn't know their ideas were right. They had a strong confidence in it. They were just, boom, experimenting and throwing it out there, risking rejection and criticism, but doing it because we are humans and we can breed great ideas. And that's important to understand. There's some kind of classical versus romantic understanding. I think Persic does a great job of explaining this idea. I don't know, that some of us stay in a classical understanding way and some of us are romantics. For example, he brings the motorcycle into view. he rides with another person who just views the motorcycle as something beautiful and amazing, but doesn't go farther than that. Doesn't try to explore the parts and how they break down into functions and components and how they interact with each other and what function can they be. He just sees a motorcycle and says, great, I can ride this, but I don't try to understand it anymore. And the classical reasoning, I mean, that's romantic thought. And then there's classical thinking where we try to break down everything else. That I've been really confused about this. I believe our educational system tries to develop a classical understanding more than a romantic one, at least in my cultural racing education. But still, I think both of them are important. They are not mutually exclusive, and we are human beings, and we can use the different abilities and skills inside of our spectrum. Perhaps you will get a lesson that the author never intended, but it just fits your lifestyle and your stage of life, and that's amazing. So yeah, and I've been trying to use this to write and create, for example, these videos, and try to not be too harsh on myself, and this video has to have this body and this introduction and this great hook, and then this, oh my god, it's not matching up to the great filmmakers of whatever age and this age and the YouTubers. Maybe I just have to do my thing, and maybe my perception of quality can differ. And it's not necessarily because it's wrong. Of course, I might not have the same experience as those great guys, and there are rules that might help to make something beautiful or appealing or symmetric or whatever. But at the end of the day, maybe it's just about breaking those rules after you get to know them a little bit, and just getting whatever's out of your head out there into the world to see what happens. Because the world is a terrible judge, or things might not be adequated for your idea to grow at the time. Where I don't know, how many writers have died in 100 years after the books are read and they become famous as hell, and not because of fame, because of their ideas. But maybe the important thing is just thinking what is good for yourself, what you like, what you find beautiful, what you appreciate, what makes you curious, and try to foster that thought and see what happens, see where it leads you. Perhaps it's just about the dance and dancing all the way to happiness, and that is being present at the moment. And that has helped me to feel liberated somehow. Anyways, I think I'm rambling on. I really enjoyed this book. You should give it a try and tell me what you think about it. And as always, if you like this video, consider subbing to the channel. Why? Because I'm going to be making great, awesome videos that might inspire you and your family to become your greatest self. Or maybe not your greatest self, but you might have a good time or just laugh at me and the things I say. I love you guys. Lex out.